Good morning, everyone, and welcome to your Hear Your Truth Tuesday. I'm Leslie Pogue, your happy chick and your host. Today, as you can see, I have a different background. I've relocated my office and my space, which is also very key to what's happening today. Today's topic is survival or self-care, or self-care or survival. I think a lot of times we get those two mixed up. I think what people consider to be self-care is actually survival, like eating right and making sure you're getting sleep and certain foods and then shelter and drinking water all the time. That's not self-care. That's survival. If you don't drink water, you will die. If you don't sleep, you will ultimately go kind of insane and you will die. Shelter is one of those things where that's not necessarily required for shelter, but I mean for survival. But I think we've become accustomed to that. So it's one of those things that's on the line because I know we have a lot of displaced folks and we have houseless people, but they're surviving just fine, which is questionable too, but they are surviving without having that shelter. That said, there are places in the world and there are times during the year where survival is still critical. And even for people who are displaced or who are houseless, then it can be detrimental. It actually can lead to their death. So shelter is one of those questionable ones. Another questionable one I would say is exercise, because can we survive without it? Probably. But should we exercise? Definitely. Because without exercise, our muscles atrophy and it actually is a more cause of a heart attack and lesser health, poor circulation and all of that when you don't move your joints, when you don't exercise in some fashion. You don't have to join a gym or anything, but walking around and making sure you're moving, stretching, things of that nature. These are the areas that give us better quality of life, which leads me into self-care. Self-care is really, that's how you want to think about it. Self-care is one of those things that if you didn't do it, would you die? Probably not, but it does give you a better quality of life. Self-care are things like meditation, spending time with loved ones, rest. And rest is different than sleep. Rest is just recognizing when your body is tired and when you need to just take a break. Whereas sleep is that time where your body is completely refreshing, where you are allowing your body to heal. And sleep is something that should last 7 to 9 hours. Whereas rest can be just sitting down on your butt and watching TV and just relaxing. Okay, that's not sleep, that's rest. Just stopping, that's rest. And doing something fun and enjoyable, something that gives you joy, like golf or going to a movie or spending time with family and friends. So I read an article on Yahoo News this morning, actually, about it's a tweet that went out. This woman tweeted about how she loves waking up with her husband and they stretch and they spend time together in the morning over coffee and they never run out of things to talk about. And it's such a lovely sentiment and basic short little love letter to her husband. And so many people tweeted back so negatively. Well, if I was rich, then I could do that too. Or you shouldn't say that because it'll hurt other people's feelings when they don't, and not everyone has the luxury of, I'm paraphrasing, but oh my gosh, I cannot believe the barrage of negativity that went to something so beautiful and so lovely and actually, quite honestly, something to aspire to, right? Don't we all want to be able to spend our mornings over coffee with our spouse, or our partner and just leisurely going into the day? That doesn't mean they don't work. It doesn't mean that they're rich. It just means that they have consciously created this lifestyle that they want and that works for them. Duh, we can all do that. It might look different, But why are we throwing shade on someone that has actually figured it out? And to be honest, I know I keep doing this, you guys. I'm so sorry. Something feels like it's itching my nose. They actually look pretty young too. I mean, when I say young, I'm 53, so everybody's young to me. But they look like they might be in their late 20s, early 30s. That's an assumption. Let me just put that out there. That is an assumption. But that said, they have figured out as a team, hello, how a marriage should go, how to create a life that they like. They live in they've created this garden, I think it said, I'm sorry, this garden, they think they said. And so so they go out into the garden, they have their cup of coffee with each other, they talk in the mornings. How lovely is that? And so many people threw such negativity at that. That just screams where we are in the world. People are hurting, people are in pain. People have taken this I don't want to say it's DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion to the nth power, which I still think they have. But I feel that people have gotten to a place where they feel like if anyone's life is slightly different than theirs, then they have the right to cry lack of inclusion or exclusion, or how dare you have this life that is different than mine, because how could you? You know, you're inconsiderate because you didn't consider the fact that my life is not as convenient or as comfortable as yours. And that is not where we should be. At the end of the day, that's not what inclusion means. That's not what I know I'm stumbling over my words because my emotions are in play. You guys can always tell when my emotions get into it because I can't. But let me gather myself. It is not kind to look at other people's life that is better than yours, in your opinion, because what's better, what's worse, right? We don't know all the details. That's one tweet. You don't know what else they're managing. You have no idea if they're managing an illness, if they are taking care of sick parents, if they are living paycheck to paycheck. You have no idea. Just like they have no idea what's going on in your life. Why not take a look at that as, wow, how wonderful that they figured this out. What a beautiful marriage they must have. Instead of, one, making it about you, which, hello, come on. But two, assuming so much about this teeny tiny little tweet. Because let's face it, our social media mostly talks about all the great things that are happening in our lives. Okay, let's face it, no one on Facebook is that freaking happy, right? And here I am, happy chick. So I know that there is a part of our lives that is challenging. And to share some of the goodness, the world actually needs that. So instead of focusing on what isn't working in your life, focus on what can be different, how you can change it, and take some of these notes and lessons from other people who have kind of figured it out for themselves. They're not telling you to live a certain way. They're not telling you that this is right or wrong. They're just sharing how beautiful that they figured it out. Let that be a motivation for you to go, you know what? Obviously, there's something different. There's something better. There's a different way of living. Let me explore that and see how you can find that balance for yourself in your own life. And that is true self-care. What works for you? What doesn't work for you? I had a similar situation recently. I was practicing my comedy or I went to where I usually practice my comedy, and it was just so chaotic that it really sent me into a bad place. And afterwards, I decompressed, but the next day I realized, you know what? You don't have to do this way. There are other ways to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. And that's true self-care. So take the opportunity to examine what is working and what isn't working in your life, and then give yourself that grace to say, you know what, let me figure out a way that makes my quality of life better, makes what I want to do easier to do. Because there's an endless array of ways to do and have and be what you want to have and do and be in the world. Okay, so I finally got it together and I started twitching on my nose. All right, I hope that was helpful. Everybody have a fantastic rest of the week. And as always, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, and follow me on TikTok, all at LP Speak. And with that said, until next time, go be